Welcome to Little Birdie Podcast. I'm your host, Scoot. It's the US Masters edition, and it's just the best week in golf. Augusta, Georgia. If you haven't been, you need to book yourself a ticket. Hopefully we can fire up Little Birdie Tours, and you guys can come with us one day. Home of the Masters. It is a sight to behold. We've got an all-star team. They're back. It's the same old clan. We've got Gambler. We've got Nick Top Rope Tedeschi. How are you, Top Rope?
I'm absolutely fizzing. Masters week. So how good we've got. We're deep in the throes of Tiger Fest 2022. I've never seen so much Brandel Chamblee in my life. It's been absolutely wonderful. Here we are, the greenest course in the world, the most exciting course in the world, the most exciting tournament of the year. How good.
And Mike Dogger Caridi joins us as well. Everyone will know him from last season. How are you, Dogger?
Yeah, excellent, mate. A bit like Top Rope. Very happy watching Tiger hit golf balls at Augusta.
God, I'm in a couple of betting chat groups, and I've nearly had to mute the word Tiger. It's a bit nauseating for me. I love Tiger like everyone else, but we're talking about a player that's, 100 to 1 into $67 or something like that. He's a roughie. He's a long shot. I understand the love for him, and it's been a massive effort to come back, but it's taking away from the main event. He can't win. He's no chance.
I would agree he's no chance, but he's Tiger. I mean, I would have said he's no chance to be there. And he couldn't walk in a straight line 3 months ago, and now he's walking the hills of Augusta. I can never say never, but yeah, you would have to think his price was probably more correct last week than it is today.
I know Top Rope is a bit of a fan, and we'll talk about Tiger a little bit more further along the track. But something that always is a little bit of a giggle is the Masters dinner. So the champion gets to pick the menu for the next season, and Matsuyama, we'll put it up on the screen now for anyone watching on YouTube, but he's gone the sushi and sashimi nigiri and the yakitori chicken skewers, which I think this is one of the all-time Augusta menus. The miso glazed black cod, outstanding. The Mizuzaki wagyu, absolutely superb. And then he finishes it off with a Japanese strawberry shortcake. I think that's probably the greatest ever Masters Club dinner I've ever seen. And I think I've seen some absolute howlers with Nick Faldo and his fish and chips, the cornbread, fajitas, I think, once upon a time. Some of it has been pathetic. And Tiger was once a young man, and we've all been, teenagers and kids growing up. But he was 21 at the time, and he won the tournament in 1997, and the year after, he's put cheeseburgers, grilled chicken sandwiches, French fries. You can get this at the local diner or In-Out Burger, strawberry and vanilla milkshakes, shrimp cocktail, and some olives. I think someone just had to tug his coat there to put the shrimp cocktail and the olives on, and then some filet mignon has snuck its way on. I think this is a raw as well. I think he would have just gone the full takeaway setup there, and he's had some sautéed sea bass, potato, and some corn, and he's probably had to get someone else to choose the wines for him as well, Tiger, but he's probably matured a bit, and we'll have to dig out what his more recent selection was. But I think Matsuyama, I think that menu alone just makes me want to back him. I think I have to go all in on him doing the back-to-back at pretty big odds. But I guess we'll go through to you, Top Rope. I know you're on a tight schedule here. I think we're going to start calling you Gambler. I think you're on every show except for our Bet Doctor Racing show. You've just got action everywhere. Tiger's comeback, I guess the first one, make or miss the cut. But I think it's miss the cut $1.65 now and make the cut $1.96 with Top Sport. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, look, I'm going to back him to make the cut. The most overused term in sport these days is narrative, but the narrative certainly with Tiger this week. But apparently been hitting the ball phenomenally. Looks fit, looks relaxed. Last time he missed the cut, he was an amateur. So even in his he hasn't comebacks before, never kind of in this situation. But this is a course that suits previous champions. No course has had more repeat winners among the tournaments had more repeat winners among majors. It suits a certain type of golfer. It obviously suits Tiger, who's won it 5 times. I'm going to back him to make the cut at $1.96.
Yeah, agree. I think 50 going to make it through at a 91 or 92, whatever it is. He knows the place inside out. There's no reason why even on one leg he couldn't. If he's hitting it the way he looked like on the range, you can't imagine that he won't make the cut.
It's crazy. Setup looks spot on. Let's have a look at the top of the market. And I know you're pressed for time, Top Rope. You're a busy man. The outright winner market, John Rahm, I think they've found the right favourite. I remember watching last year's tournament, and he absolutely grew wings on the last day, and that's a bit of an indicator to me that he probably just was feeling the pinch and a bit of the pressure early, and he just absolutely roared around. I know he's been putting a little bit average lately, but I think that he's definitely the rightful favourite here. $12 at Top Sport, JT $14, DJ 18. Scotty Scheffler's been winning everything. Not $18. Cam Smith in the same bracket. He's absolutely on fire. Probably one of the best and the shortest Aussies for some time. At $19, Rory McIlroy. There's a lot of talk and hype around Rory. I'm not convinced that he's ever recovered from that. Looked like an unassailable lead one time, and he's just completely choked off. Brooks Koepka. This is a guy that can set himself for a big major. Victor Hovland, he's been playing well, $22. Colin Morikawa, 23. Spieth. He's just starting to creep back up into Masters contention and good headspace. He was really good last year, I felt. Cantlay is another one that many will find. And then we've got Xander closing out at $23, and there's a big gap to the rest of the field. But Top Rope, who's the player to beat, and who's a couple of roughies from your perspective?
I'm all over Justin Thomas here. Profiles perfectly for mine. He's got the Masters experience. He's played his 6 times before. He's had a best finish of 4th. Winners tend to be in the 27 to 37 age range. He's 28. The top 30 players in the world nearly exclusively win. Ticks that box. Coming in with decent form. He's been in sensational form this year. March top 20 is kind of what I look for there. And from like a game perspective, you have to be a tremendous iron player. He ranks 6th in greens in reg, 5th in strokes gained approach, 12th in proximity. You've got to be good around the greens. He ranks 6th in scrambling. The top statistical guide here is par 4 birdie or better. He ranks 2nd in that, 1st in bogey avoidance. Look, I think he does have a bit of a mental block to get over finding that second major. It's been a while. He probably should have won 1 or 2 since then. But I like Justin Thomas as my clear top pick. Among those other favourites you mentioned, other guys I'll be looking at, Cam Smith and Patrick Cantlay are 2 for mine. Completely with you on Rory. Leave me out of him. He tends to throw these around, and no one has a better record to par in majors over the last 5 years other than Brooks Koepka and Rory McIlroy rounds 2 or 4. His round ones though have been abhorrent. So look for how he starts this one. When it comes to roughies, I'll fire off kind of 2 to 3 in the mid-tier range. We're backing Matt Fitzpatrick. I think he, as another one with a good game to suit here, he's got a good iron game, good scrambler, can putt well in his day. He's got form at the Genesis as well, form to Riviera. It's kind of a real burn. Surprisingly, already played in 7 majors, in 7 Masters, even only 27. Russell Henley, I think, is an underrated player. He has played very, very well here in the past. Doesn't always make it, not in the top tier of players, but not a top 30 player. But I kind of think he can be in that top 5, top 10 markets there. And Billy Horschel for mine, I think, is another one who I think will be right in the mix. He ticks all the profile boxes. He's a strong iron player. He's a good scorer. And is a really good putter, particularly on those bent greens. So I will be looking at Billy Horschel around that $91 mark.
Outstanding. So just to summarise, Top Rope there, he likes JT at $14 and Cam Smith $19 as the 2 to beat. Gives a bit of a tip for Cantlay. Matt Fitzpatrick's at $54 with Top Sport. Tyrrell Hatton, $58. You probably got a picture of him on your dunny door. Russell Henley, $85. I concur. He's bobbed up and looked well there. And then Billy Horschel's an interesting one at $95. But definitely it is a horses for courses deck. And you are so sick, Top Rope. You're in our little private little birdie chat group, and you've got action going on every week in the golf and even the ladies' golf. So make sure you've jotted those down at home. And I'll give him the short shift today because I know he's pressed for time. But thanks for joining us. And I'll tell you what, I've got one up on you this week, Top Rope. I've got the house to myself. The missus, the kids are in Melbourne. I'm here at the Gold Coast. And I'll tell you what, I'll be up at 5 a.m. watching all of it. And I know her jealous. And if you want to come up here, I'll share your ticket up so you can just hang out with me and do a work trip up here. So see if you can get that one.
You're happy to pay for the divorce lawyer as well, Scooty? If you get that one over the line was sweet.
I reckon I know someone. All right, Dogger. Thanks, Top Rope. We'll catch you on the next Majors pod. But Dogger, let's get down to serious business. And I guess your specialty is round 1 leaders, but let's talk about the course profile and the weather first up.
Yeah, for sure. The weather is looking pretty good, to be honest. Right now, I think anyone who's probably tuned in or getting ready to watch a par three tournament, they're going to see a little bit of lightning, a little bit of rain. But that looks like it's going to be all cleared up and gone by probably around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday for them. So should be setting the course up to look perfect for the rest of the week. They're not expecting any more rain after that. They are expecting a bit of a breeze. So I think it's Friday and Saturday. They're going to be sitting around 30 k's an hour breeze in the afternoon. So my expectation is the course will probably play hard and fast. So that doesn't hurt the guys that are a little bit shorter. It's not really probably a course now that you need to be super long to do well at. But I'm expecting guys to really need to be able to get their ball around the green well. So when I've done my numbers, it's been around those guys that are around the green stats are really shining through.
With the wind, I guess, and playing that way, who can you put the pen through a couple of golfers straight away? Is there some that you can just lay and rule out?
Look, necessarily, I think the biggest thing when it comes to playing in the wind, it's not going to be like an Open Championship wind where, you want to look at a guy like Leash who's been down at the Warrnambool and he can fly it any way he likes. There's guys like Morikawa who, of late, when he played at the Players, was struggling a bit in the pretty poor conditions to flight it. But you would never say you can put a line through him at Augusta because it's not going to be that treacherous. It's just going to be, blowy enough to push the ball around. And on these greens, as we know, you got to hit them to the right spot. So any sort of breeze is going to make that harder.
And then horses for courses. It just seems guys that handle Augusta, they just go around on rails the whole time.
No, I agree, mate. I think, look, you really need to have been there a couple of times to probably get a good result. I know Zalatoris did okay in the COVID delayed one, but realistically, the more you play there, the more you know those slopes and lumps and bumps coming into the greens and where you need to place it. Look, again, we just talked about Leash, but Leash is a prime example. If you look at his numbers of coming around here, he's finished top 10 3-4 times, even if he's coming in poor form. Guys find an extra leg here, which is definitely down to that course history.
Yeah, I find myself falling into Leash a couple of times. I remember when 2013 he wasn't that far away from Scotty. He's bobbed up in a couple of top 10 finishes, and he does seem to excel at that course. So at around sort of 80-1, I think he's worth a mental health bet for me at least. I guess on recent form, I look at the top chances or anyone sort of up to 50-1, and I think Matsuyama and Cam Smith seem to be the informed players that love Augusta. And then I look at someone like a Scotty Scheffler. He's in white hot form and career best form, and he's really announced himself. He's been in the mix, I guess, for 12 months, so it's no big surprise. But I'd say out of those three golfers that are in the white hot form, I'd say Scheffler maybe the least suited out of him and Cam Smith and Matsuyama. Would you agree?
Yeah, agree, mate. Look, and it's not because he's a worse golfer than the other two. I mean, he's world number one now, but he just hasn't had the laps around there. I mean, Matsuyama is a pure ball striker, and so is Cam. They've both got their strengths, and not that Scotty doesn't, but I think you'd like to see him. He's had two good starts here. He's finished top 20 both times around. But I think of those three of the guys coming in, probably doesn't fit Scotty as well as the other two. But at the same time, of the three, it'd probably be the one that I'd take. And it's only because Matsuyama's next doesn't look right. He pulled out of he withdrew from the Valero last week where he was trying to get a run under his belt, and he didn't play the match play. So he's not 100%.
Not 100%.
Yeah. And Cam's on fire, but he was obviously a bit tired after the Players, so he didn't play the match play either, which is not a big deal. It's not exactly a great lead-in tournament to sort of really get a feel for what Augusta's going to be like. He got time with his family, which is exactly what you want. You want that mental health, that strokes gained home life. But for me, backing up winning players into Masters would be, I don't think anyone's ever done it, so it'd be an unbelievable achievement.
And what about Adam Scott, past winner? We're talking about the Aussies a little bit here. So,
yeah,
what are your thoughts with him?
Yeah, look, again, another bloke who's probably found a little bit of form of late. I mean, he's ninth at the match play. He's fourth at the Genesis, 26 at Arnold Palmer. He's playing some good golf. Scotty knows his place very well. He knows what the pressure's like down the stretch, and he's won it. So all those things are in his favour. But when he's standing there on those 3-foot putts and the flag's in, and he's got that grip and that stance and that long putter, it just makes me feel uncomfortable, let alone him. I don't know how he's going to do it. But look, if he has a day where if he has a week where he putts well, yeah, you could easily see him finishing top 10.
Well, some of your your speciality is the first round leader market. So, have you found any chinks or any value in the first round leaders this time around?
Yeah, it's a little bit like my total market, to be honest. I'm kind of a bit at both ends. I've got a couple of favourites and a couple of outsiders. Cam Smith, the last 2 years, has ranked number one in round one scoring. So at around $23, him and Cantlay are both very good shorter price. One's $23 and $29.
Mhm.
And then a bit further out, it's guys like Henley, Harmon, and Neiman. They're around that 40 to 60s. But I'll probably have a little bit on is it Cam Young as well. He's about 80s. And I know that's 6 players, but effectively I probably have less on the favourites just because you're going to get a split pot. There's a massive chance you're going to get 2 or 3 tied for the lead after round one, and you're going to get split number. So I'd much prefer a split 80s than a split 20s.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what. And look, it's a lottery. Like don't be selling your house and loading up on those guys. It's something for a bit of fun on day one.
And not just the Masters. Do you use that staking strategy across most tournaments you play?
Yeah, look, most of the time, if round one leader for sure. It's really is just something to go around round one and pray that I've got someone in the mix for the overall. But it's amazing how often you can pull the data out of the in the round one scoring averages,
Yep.
and see those guys constantly up there. Johnny Vegas or Emiliano Grillo, like these guys just tend to turn up. Henley does it a lot. And yeah, it's just one of those things to keep your eye on, and yeah, not a bad start to the week.
All right, let's get into the serious stuff then, and let's talk about the top of the market with, I guess, Rahm favourite, $12, JT $14, DJ $18, Scheffler $18, and Cam Smith $19, Rory $21, Brooks $22. We've seen the market and talked about it briefly there, but who's the runner to beat here in your opinion?
Yeah, look, the one that's on that list there is and I know you love it when I agree with blokes like Top Rope, but yeah, I think Justin Thomas for mine. When I run the numbers, he's well and truly on top. But the big thing with JT is he is the best all-round golfer, right? But what you see in golf tournaments is you get the best all-round golfer that has a 1-out week in the stat that they're most efficient in, right? So the best example is Matsuyama. Matsuyama's not a great putter. When he has a great putting week like he did last year, he wins. Morikawa at the Open last year, not a great putter, has a week with the putter, wins.
Yep.
So JT's very good at everything, so he's always going to contend, but he needs that. He needs to be able to close, and I don't think he's won since Players 2 years ago, or a year ago. So he's the top of the pick, but he won't be my number one bet. My number one bet will be Patrick Cantlay. So I know Top Rate mentioned him as well.
Yeah.
But he'll be my number one pick of the shorter players, yeah, but they're the two.
Whenever I hear Justin Thomas in these big majors, I think of Xander. I get sort of triggered. Yeah. I think of like a cat lapping up a saucer of milk. And you said it. You said that he just couldn't close, and it's been a big break for him. But Patrick Cantlay, I guess, give us the reasons why he can win and why you've landed on him.
Yeah, so his putting is going up. So if you look at his strokes gained putting, that's going north. His approach plays this year is trending downwards, right? And strokes gained approach is a key stat nearly every single week, and certainly is this week at the Masters. But it's really impacted by how he performed at the Players' Championship. So I'm not super stressed about that. Last year, he ranked around 24, 25 overall over the season. So I think it's something he can get back. And if he gets that back with his putting going better, I think he's primed. And I think if you look at his performance here over years gone by, you know, he's at a 17th and a 9th. He knows how to get around here as well.
Okay, so that's enough for him to qualify as someone who likes the deck. All right, what's the where's the error in the market? Is there a roughie that the bookies have overpriced?
There's a couple that I don't mind. I don't necessarily think they win, but I think they could give it a shake in the mid range. Someone who, you know, for top 20s, I'd be looking at I know we talked about Henley as well, but Taylor Gooch is one that I quite like. Taylor Gooch's numbers are quite good. The problem with Taylor Gooch is his first time here. So I don't know what he's understood of the course in the last sort of week and practice rounds and how much he enjoys it. And that's probably the only deficiency. And that's why his price is where it's at. But he's had a great start to the season. I mean, he's shopping around 170 to 1 for the outright. Top 10, he's sitting at around $8. So yeah, he'd be my best for the outsiders.
And I think he's about 370 for a top 20
top
play
20
there.
Yep. Correct.
interesting to see. And what about any other, I guess, head-to-head matchups or any other prop bets that you sort of like to dig around in, or do you play in the top Aussie markets, or have you found any chinks of the markets around the edges?
Yeah, look, I don't play the head-to-heads too often. If I do, it's really just putting a couple of multis together after I realise I haven't lost enough money on the tournament, and I put those together probably after a few beers on a Saturday night. The top Aussie for me, I'm going to back Leash. I like
Yeah.
Leash. I think nothing against Cam. He's hands down the best Aussie golfer we have at the moment, and Adam Scott's playing great golf, and Lucas Herbert's got as much confidence as anyone's ever had in their life. But I really think Leash is going under the radar, and I think he'd be my pick for the best Aussie this week.
480, you can get about Mark Leishman at Top Sport, and Cam Smith is pretty short there at 210. So definitely could be the value play. How often do you? I know Big Daddy will come on the show later, and I know Big Daddy just keeps chipping up throughout the tournament. So his pre-post stuff's been amazing. I think he's cracking out about 28%, but as the tournament unfolds, he continues to take different positions, and his in play book is often different, and he just will keep hammering a runner once the market gets priced back up. Do you do that after round 1 and 2 and 3? Do you prefer to bet more after seeing 2 days or 3 days of the tournament?
Yeah, good question. It really depends on the tournament. Most weeks, to be honest, I'll sort of have my bets early doors, and if they're in the mix, then I've already got a great price and I'll leave it there. And if I find something that doesn't look right after, say, round 1 or 2, then I'll get involved again, especially if I find someone who's mispriced based on the weather draw. So you quite often get someone who might be out early on a Thursday and late on a Friday.
Yep.
They've played super, super well in poor weather and they're going to get great weather on day 2, then I'd probably have a look at them if they've not got the right number. But other than that, I pretty much just try and leave it alone and just keep an eye on that. If I get down to the final round and I've got nothing in the mix that's going to pay, then I'll have a look at anyone that I think might be able to make a late Sunday charge, but that's about all.
All right, we welcome a brand new sponsor to the show, and it's just over my shoulder here, and it's clubtechgolf.com.au, and we've got a special offer for Little Birdie fans. So you just type in Little Birdie, and you get 10% off all your golf gear. So if you got your clubs needing repairing, or you want to buy some new ones, I'm dying to get out there for a hit, and just can't find a way to get free of the kids. I might try and sneak out there this week, but Club Tech is definitely our preferred partner, and they'll be joining us for all our major golf stuff. But it's on our website too, Little Birdie Live. Go into partners, and you can click through to their website as well, and the 10% off all the stock will be there for the entire year. So welcome aboard Club Tech, and make sure you check them out. They've got some great specials at the moment on different kit, balls, and they've also got a price matching thing. So if you find a legit price on the internet, you can email them in or drop it into their contact us form, and they'll match a price for any golf shop going around. So make sure you get behind the partners that support us, and check out clubtechgolf.com.au. We'll take a quick break. I'll keep Dogger on the line just so I can keep Big Daddy honest, and we'll talk to Adam Fraser next. Welcome back to Little Birdie Podcast. It's Big Daddy time. It's our favourite time of the show. And Fraser, how are you?
Good, buddy. Yeah, hopefully flying after this week.
Mate, you're already flying before you found Cam Smith at the Players. The followers of the Big Daddy Majors set are absolutely wrapped with your behaviour. So if you don't really have to do much more, mate, but if you can jag the winner again, we'll be very, very excited.
I think it's difficult this year. The reason being is I have an adjusted stroke average that I use, as you know, and I haven't got a player that's averaging under 69. So when that happens, it usually means that it's a fairly open event. There's multiple chances, and the market's protected a few of them. One in particular, Cameron Smith and Justin Thomas, so 2 in particular. So there's not an attractive price on either of those 2 players, but I think Patrick Cantlay is about the right price. I think he's probably one of the hottest players at the moment. I think he would, at the guys at the top end of the market, I think he's probably the best value for the guy that's been playing very well.
It's like you've snuck in and listened to the show prior, because Yeah, Top Rope and Dogger have definitely found Cantlay, and both have signalled him as a bet. And I guess it's no surprise. I guess you guys all look at the statistics, and I guess JT's knocking the door down. He's an American, and then it's hard to ignore the Cam Smith form, and then especially someone who goes around Augusta absolutely on rails. But just quickly, I'll give it some more airtime because everyone's interested in Tiger. Make or miss the cut. Just humorous, please. Miss the cut's $1.65 or make the cut 196. Adam, tell me.
It's difficult to come back straight away after injury and such a long layoff. No one really knows. Guys are saying that he's hitting the ball well. Tiger knows the course well. Can he perform under that extreme pressure? Well, he knows how to handle it, definitely, but first time up, yeah, I'm not so convinced. I think I think he can make the cut, but whether he'll be in contention, no, I don't think so.
What about Matsuyama? Dogger mentioned he's had a bit of a neck injury. Can he overcome that? And do you think he's probably in the right vein of form, but is a neck injury a big deal? You've played a lot of golf yourself. You've been on tour. Is that a red flag for you?
Yeah, I've had neck injuries before. My brothers have them. They're quite painful when they come on, depending on the severity of them, but they do affect your swing. But I guess he wouldn't tee it up if he wasn't fit enough to play and think he could contend. And based off his form, he's very, very hard to ignore at the price. There's last year's winner. He knows the course very well. Obviously, he's very comfortable there. I'm going to be having something on him, definitely, even with his injury.
Jon Rahm finished really, really strongly last year. I think he carded 66 in the last round. I think you might have been on him pre-tournament and maybe even after round one. Not completely clear on that, but he was taking all before him. There'd be a lot of pressure on him again here. He looks very short in the market. Back or a lay, or can you see him bouncing back to form?
I can't back him at the price. He's way too short for how he was playing last year and the previous year. He's still playing well, but he's not averaging as low as what he was. He's not playing as good as what he was. So I think the price is far too short. I can't back him at that price.
Dogger, you're nodding there. Everyone's talking about his putting being a mile off the mark at the moment.
Yeah, no, exactly what Big Daddy said. I can't have that price. The price is based on his form here. His last four starts are 4th, 9th, 7th, and 5th. So, yep, great. He's got the form. He's not playing anywhere near as well as last year. And, his strokes gained around the green have really dropped off since early this year, I reckon. So, no, I just couldn't have him at the price.
Another one we sink the boots into is Rory McIlroy, and I've got him in never back again territory at Augusta. I think mentally he's sort of run his race there and he's in the horrors. A bit like me every time I step out in the golf course. But how do you handle a player like Rory McIlroy?
Well, Rory's he's made a coaching change, and that can be difficult when you do that. It can throw your form out for a little while. Rory did not even make my top 25, so I can't. He's no chance of me even going anywhere near. I can't. I'm not going anywhere near Rory.
You're known for your head-to-head matchups. Have you had a little bit of a look at the top sport markets yet for the head-to-head matchups, and given that any of those are tickle?
I've had a little bit of a squeeze. There's one match that for the listeners out there that I'm interested in. And the price is not too bad. It's Adam Scott versus Tony Finau. And Tony Finau, again, he didn't make my top 25 in my ranking, so he's definitely not playing as well as what he's capable of doing. At the Farmers Insurance, in January, he missed the cut. At the Phoenix, he missed the cut. The Genesis, he finished tied 33rd, which wasn't much. The Players, he missed the cut. The Volvo Texas, he finished 30th. And then you match him up against Scotty, who's been playing quite well. He's a past winner at this event. He knows the course extremely well. Adam Scott's a very, very good ball striker, which is it's high priority around here because there's so much trouble looming that you can have big numbers. There's a lot of water holes. So when they're pretty much the same price on Top Sport, I would much rather take Adam Scott over Tony Finau right now as a tournament match bet.
$1.98 Scott and $1.82 Tony Finau. So Nearly even money there. Sounds delicious to me. In the top Aussie market, Dogger's happy to take on Cam Smith. Cam Smith is 210. Scotty 430. Mark Leishman 480. Would you be with him with Mark Leishman to knock off Smithy and Scotty, or would you in fact back Scott to beat all of them?
Well, Cam Smith, he came in number one on my ranking list. So if I was going to back Adam Scott and Mark Leishman, I would have to save on Cam Smith. I'd have to work out a betting strategy to maybe save on Smith. So on form, Cam Smith beats both of them. But I haven't really had a look at that market to bet into. But Adam Scott and Mark Leishman would be value, I would say, on the odds to beat Smith. But I'd maybe have a small saver stake on Smith because he is in good form.
All right, let's have a look at the Top Sport Big Bets, and we'll see if you boys would like to hold the ticket, or you'd like to sell it, or you'd like to lay it. So the first big one here is Cam Smith 2,000 at $17. I'm tipping Big Daddy you'd take the ticket. You'd be trying to fish for better odds, obviously, but I think he's even drifted. I think he's 17 out to $19, but definitely a hold that ticket.
Yeah, it's the right price. I think he's pretty close to the right price. Yeah.
Dogger, you want that bet?
Yeah, great. He's super form. Can't argue with it, and that's not a bad bet at all.
I haven't mentioned this bloke's name. Dustin Johnson, 2,000 at $18. Hold, or you'd sell it, Big Daddy?
No, I wouldn't be holding DJ at 18.
Dogger?
Aligned again on form. I can understand why someone wants to bet him, but not at that price.
He just doesn't seem to be an Augusta player.
He's a winner.
Yeah, that was the COVID one, so sometimes it goes out the window. Yeah, don't know, not sure. He finished second to Tiger.
He was flying that year. He won too, and he was a standout player. So he's not a standout player at the moment.
This is an interesting one. Tiger Woods 1,000 at 81.
No,
would you have the balls to lay it?
I wouldn't have the balls to lay it at 81 because Tiger's dangerous. He can really hurt you. But I think he should be a bit higher than that. But it'll be a very, very small lay.
Exactly the same. Yeah, when Tiger's name gets mentioned, you'd be very nervous. But yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be confident about collecting either.
He's sort of like a black caviar. The P&L sheets across bookmakers for the last sort of 20 years, you'd just see the ripple of where Tiger just absolutely destroyed bookmakers. And speaking to a couple of guys that have been on the shows before and been on the podcast before, he definitely changed a lot of punters' lives when he went on that golden run. Will Zalatoris is a name that popped up earlier in the show. There's 1,000 at 34 for him. Dogger, maybe you first.
I don't mind that bet. I don't mind that ticket. He's stacked up number 3 in my numbers, but
wow,
I just can't have him for his putting. I get very nervous. He's got a double figure 8 going. It's a shocker. I can't see
exactly the same.
I can't see him doing that left hand anchored figure 8 putting style and getting it done over 4 days. I just can't.
Big Daddy.
No, same. I totally agree, mate. I have seen some stuff with this guy that scares the bejesus out of me, like the most yippy-looking strokes from 3 or 4 feet. And when you've got a hole putt, when you're in contention, you got a hole putts in that sort of low to mid range to contend and win. Oh my God, he scares the hell out of me.
Speaking of the yips, I saw some footage and I thought it was a seniors tour or some sort of BGO competition where a golfer was marking his line and walking alongside the line of his putt. And the golfer, I had to double take. I'm thinking, that looks like Keegan Bradley. And I'm thinking, I asked someone, I said, is that Keegan Bradley? And I'm like, what is he do? What's he doing? And he's got his caddy to do it and he does it. I didn't even know it was allowed, but wherever his ball lies, and he starts to march and walks with a foot either side of the path of where his ball's going to go. I couldn't believe it's allowed, and I couldn't believe he was actually doing it. What's going on?
Yeah, I saw that. They took forever too to hit that putt. They got the caddy involved and everything.
Yeah, I think they've taken the caddy, they've taken the green reading books off, and they've all switched to that Aim Point Express, and they all try to feel the 1 or 2% gradient, and it's. Yeah, I'm not buying it. If you're that bad, just hit it. Pray.
I mean, I say to people I used to teach, as you know, Scoot, I say to people, if you took away your eyes and you couldn't use your eyes for a putt, how would you go? I mean, these guys are trying to use their feet.
Yeah.
I just think your eyes are your best tool. I find it quite comical.
I'd be surprised. I don't know if he's won a tournament since. I obviously don't follow the golf as well as you guys, and I don't know how he's playing, but I look at that and it's just I get the texter out, I get the black pen, and I just sack him for the rest of my life after watching that. You are so far gone. You just couldn't recover mentally from that if that's what you're doing. Like, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen on a golf course. But all right, I think we'll wrap the show up there unless you've got any other pearls for us, Big Daddy.
Oh, there's some big roughies this week. I think the tournament's wide open. There's a guy that's been playing exceptionally well. Scotty Scheffler's been playing well, but the market sort of protected him, I think, and I think he's a little bit too short. But there's guys like Sam Burns, he's playing awesome. Jochen Niemann's playing well. There's Taylor Gooch is playing well. I know he's going there for the first time. Tommy Fleetwood's come back into a bit of form. Max Homer's big odds. Luke List. Luke List won on the tour recently. I mean, they're just insane odds on Betfair, and you'd be crazy not just to throw a few dollars on them, just as a specky.
This Taylor Gooch, he's popped up in Doggers market. He tipped him up for top 10 at $8 and $3.70 top 20 market. Tell us more about this bloke.
Yeah, well, he came in about 18th on my list. So when I see a player like that that's been playing well, that is that sort of price, I just can't ignore him. I've got him at $49, and I think he's about 200 in the market on Betfair. Max Homer's another one that's been playing well. Sam Burns, I really like this guy. This guy can get the job done. He can win tournaments. He gets in contention a lot. I know he hasn't obviously got experience at Augusta, but he's the sort of player that he just knows how to get it done. If he can get into contention, he's quite attractive at a price of around $50, $55.
And a name that we haven't spoken about is Brooks Koepka, is the forgotten man.
Butch Harmon and Claude, he was working a lot with. And I've seen this over the years with a lot of players that have worked with Butch and Claude, who, in my opinion, are the best. Butch is the father of Claude, and Butch, in my opinion, was the best coach ever. There are 4 players since the introduction of the world ranking system that have held the world number 1 ranking for more than 100 weeks. And there's only 4 players ever that have done that: Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, Greg Norman, and Tiger Woods. And Butch Harmon coached 3 of those. And I've seen a massive decline in players that have worked with Butch that have then gone out on their own, Butch and Claude now, because Claude's getting more heavily involved as Butch gets older. But I've seen a big decline in players. Dustin Johnson, I don't know if he's working as heavily with these guys as much, but his form's dropped off. Brooks is not working with them. His form's dropped off. Ricky Fowler, he's just completely gone out the gate. He can't even seem to find a planet at the moment with his golf. He was a very good player working with them. Brooks has gone missing.
Well, yeah, I'll probably excuse Dustin Johnson, Paul Leader, and I think Ricky's with Alison Stokes. So I think everyone's seen her, the pole vaulter. I can't blame any of those guys for going completely off the boil. They got all the cash in the world. What have they got left to do? They just got to jump around on their boats and have a good time. Have you put the pen through Brooks Koepka as well, Dogger?
I haven't. I actually was waiting for Big Daddy to pull him out again like he did last year at massive odds and nearly win the PGA. I don't mind him at all. His form is not great, not good. His form, he's good enough. He's certainly been missing for a little while now, but it wouldn't shock me to see him have a reasonable week. But he's not going to be one of my bets.
He's good in majors. He tends to pop up in majors, which is why it's hard to lay Brooks.
Yeah,
he rises to big occasions, but just based on form, I just can't have him.
Well, I think it's been great analysis, and there's been some synergy. I like it when the stars align. We push the button and we bet. So definitely, I think the takeaways from this show is Patrick Cantlay's the value runner. We're not saying that Cam Smith can't win. Tiger would probably say he's going to make the cut, which is just mind-blowing given what he's been through in the last sort of 12 months. Taylor Gooch seems to be the absolute knockout runner here. I think he's into 171, in from about 250s at Top Sport, and he's 370 to make the top 20, and he's $8 to make the top 10. Mark Leishman's worth a tiny ticket each way, and he might even be a bit of a roughie in the top Aussie market. Adam Scott's in good form, and Big Daddy's found him to beat Tony Finau in hopefully a little soft matchup in the head-to-head markets throughout the tournament. But if you want more of Big Daddy's action, make sure you head to littlebirdie.live and head to the shop, and you can get all 4 majors for $66, and you can get all 7 tournaments. He's extended, and he's given a couple extra tournaments. The biggest one's there, so you can have a look at the list, and I think that's for around $88 as well. But he's in white-hot form, and he found Cam Smith in the players. So if you've already subscribed to the set, you're playing with theirs, as they say. So you're already up and going. You've paid for the sub, so make sure you definitely check that one out. And he says it's a tough tournament, but he'll give you some staking advice and the runners that he selects to bet. And you might be backing a couple of runners to find the winner. But he's been in scintillating form for about a year and a half or 2 years, ever since we started the show, really. So fingers crossed that can continue, and we can get a couple of these real shorties beaten. If the bookies got their foot on a couple, we'll bet around them and we'll find the value. But big thanks from me at Little Birdie headquarters. Hopefully we've found the right runners to push you guys into, and if you had a query around a couple, hopefully we've found the right sort of lays. But big thanks from me to you, Dogger, and to you, Big Daddy.
No worries, mate. And throw Billy Horschel in there too.
Another little bit of meat on the bone.
He came in sixth. He came in sixth on my ranking. He's $100 odd in the market, but we can't ignore that line either. So throw him in.
And I think Top Rope found him as well. So Billy Horschel's another sneaky roughie. All right, good luck, and can't wait to get the remote and get the Masters on all weekend. Peaceful. Try and find a way to kick the kids and the missus out of the house and enjoy the best weekend golf. We'll see you next time.